Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. Back out with another market update. We'll continue doing this. I'm actually, if you watch my box opening video, I said that my basement flooded again. I thought that the stream room was not affected, but I am currently feeling water on my feet. So the stream room, the video recording room, Studio B is affected. I don't think it's going to affect anything. I think I'm just going to leave it wet right now and get content out this week and do the stream on Friday night with a wet basement and then figure it out this weekend. I don't really know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell me. But that being said, let's do this. Let's highlight the Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG to support the channel. Gets access to a collection tracker that gets updated anytime I do a video. Also gets you access to a Midtown Merchant discount code, 10% off every month. And that's about it. So go to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG if you're interested in that. And without further ado, let's talk about Arcane Rising. It's been a while since we have updated Arcane Rising due to the flood that was fixed and now it's back again. So I don't know what to tell you. These the prices from the last 2 weeks are just copied from 3 weeks ago. So you can see in the last 3 weeks we have lost 22% on sealed product. Box sold today for around $19.50. Box sold on the 12th for $2,000. Box sold on the 12th for $2,400. Before then it was a little bit higher, a little bit lower. It's just kind of all over the place. I think it really depends on who you're buying your boxes from. On eBay it's going to be a little bit less. I think on Facebook, if it's like a reputable seller, it might be a little bit more. I would say anywhere from like $2,000 to $2,400, even down to maybe like $1,900. That kind of range seems appropriate. Anyway, you can get unlimited boxes right now on TCG Player for $65. The sellers are paying at least $8 in shipping and at least 12% in fees. So they are about the same price as a distributor. So just keep that in mind. I don't think the $65 gets much less on TCG Player. But all right, let's talk about the Fable. I have a Fidia. No real changes. None have sold. None of the first. Let me show you Unlimited first before we get there. Unlimited, it's just there's no bottom. It seems like there is no bottom. I honestly could not have predicted this for you. I would have said that 400 or 500 was the minimum. I used to say this all the time. We would see boxes dry up and the price would go up to $750, and then boxes would enter the market. It would dip down to $500. Then boxes would come back into the market, it would go up to $750, and then boxes would come in, it would drop to $500. Well, that's what happened, but this time we hit $500 and we have just gone down. And honestly, I don't know where the bottom is for the eye. I don't know where the bottom is for the heart. I don't know where the bottom is for any of that stuff. It just doesn't seem like anybody is purchasing the carts. So more and more just keep entering the market. Let's talk about the eye. So there's your Unlimited for $218. Let's talk about the eye right now. There's a bunch of them on TCG on eBay. If what will happen is these will either be decreased in price and then eventually we will meet it as buyers, or these will sell at these prices. So you've got a 9 for $23,500. You've got a 9.5 for $30,000. A raw one for $40,000. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. See what happens if any of those sell. That would give us a new price point. My gut is that buyers and sellers just aren't. There just doesn't seem to be buyers, honestly. So I don't know where the price point lands where a buyer starts to show up. But we haven't had any update on the eye. I have not heard of any selling in private sales. I almost had a heart that was that somebody asked me to middleman for them, and the sale just ended up not going through. So I haven't heard anything about eyes. Looking at first edition, then, let's see, is it worth it to open up one of these $2,000 boxes? Looking at the legendaries, there was an Arknight Skullcap that sold this week for $2,400 on eBay. It looks pretty good. It was labeled in near mint. It looked pretty good. That kind of trajectory seems appropriate for what we're seeing in the rest of the market. So $2,400 for the Skullcap. There have not been any sold listings on anything over the last couple of weeks for the other cards. So those prices are a little bit outdated. But that being said, your average legendary would be around $1,700. I would anticipate that the Foundry Heart and these class specific are more in the $1,300 range. But again, it takes buyers and sellers agreeing on prices and none of that is happening these days. None of that is happening. So looking at the cold foil commons, we are actually up 0.5% on the cold foil commons. There were null room boots that sold for 275, bracers of belief that sold for 262. You can see, you know, we had a lot of ups and downs on things like Vest of the First Fist, which is down 6%. Bullseye's bracers down 12%. These prices have started to stabilize a little bit more than the other higher value cards. These prices have started to stabilize. I have no clue why that is, but your average cold foil common is sitting at $287. And maybe it's the type of person that owns these cards. I don't know. I have no clue what to tell you. But right now, that is your average price. And that is about all I can tell you. So as we look at the Majestics from first edition, the rainbow foil, they are up slightly, which doesn't make sense. I'm actually not sure why that's calculating out that way, because they are down just a little bit. They should basically be the same price. I wonder if there's a little miscalculation there somewhere. But they should basically be the same price. There was a Mordred tie that sold on eBay for I think it sold for $165 if I remember, but it was LP, so I just kind of bumped that up to $190 based on the sale price. It didn't look that bad, but it was labeled as LP. And there's a Command and Conquer that is currently on TCG Player for $1145, and the last sold listing that I had for it was $1,200. Looking at the non-foil versions of these cards, there was a Command and Conquer lot that sold 3 of them for $329. So individually, I put those at $135, kind of saying, you know, you got a discount here, a bundle offer. And then there's a Red and Ledger that sold. There's Sonic Boom that sold for a little bit less. Teklo Core went up a little bit. 3 of a Kind went down a little bit. You see your average of the non-foil is sitting at $43. Your average of the rainbow foil is about $415. Again, there's just not a ton of these on the market. It's kind of buyer dictates the price. Certainly a weird market for the first edition rainbow foils. The regular ones just they're not as rare, so they sell more often. But looking at your super rares, not a whole lot going on. Rainbow foil, really nothing sold. These are kind of non-existent. Regular ones, we are down 7% for an average of $9.37. Nothing huge to talk about here. Kind of the big one is Chains of Eminence, which is still, it's still going down. That's a card that's seeing a ton of play right now, but first edition's not really being affected by the player market at all. It's mostly all the collectors, which that's why things are starting to go down, I think. So looking at your rainbow foil rares, Plunder Run, keep in mind these are just TCG low, so Plunder Run, a couple of them got bought out. You're seeing Spellblade Assault, a lot of things just getting bought out. So that's why like a card like Plunder Run jumped up, because it just ran out of cards at the price below it. Your average rainbow foil rare is sitting around $22. It's just going to depend on if you can find the buyers for this stuff. Not really anything huge to talk about there. Your regular rares are also up 14%. You're seeing Plunder Run again. Basically, what's happening is as Plunder Run becomes more and more played, you may have a certain person who says, "Oh, I might as well buy the $3 or $4 first edition than the $1 unlimited," and so those just get bought up, and now you're seeing the low price of 10, which is probably not really super accurate. So this is all just TCG low pricing on the first edition rares and commons. So just keep that in mind. But your average is about $1. Looking at your rainbow foil commons, Fate Foreseen yellow. Fate Foreseen is a super well played card. Going up a little bit this week. Bloodspill Implication. Again, not a whole lot that you can take from first edition in terms of what's going on in the market. It's just not connected enough to the players. Maybe a little bit, but just not connected that much. So let's talk about the EV per box. So if you want to call it a true EV, that would include the commons. I do not advise that you do that. You'd be sitting at $1,625. If you want to use, if you're going to open 40 boxes, but you don't include the commons, you'd be sitting at $1,429. This is probably your most accurate kind of gambler's price. But if you want to take away any shot of hitting the Eye of Ophidia, the Fable, and you don't want to include the commons, then you'd be sitting at $1,179. But if you want to take out the legendaries too, you'd be sitting more like $744. Keep in mind, a lot of that is tied to hitting a rainbow foil majestic. Arcane Rising first edition is hard to make any profit off of. So your legendary, your fable is a huge part of this, so just keep that in mind. Common cold foil is there too. That's going to give you, $350 of value. That would get you to your $750, but just keep all of that in mind. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the unlimited market and see what we're dealing with here. We'll see what we're dealing with right here. Looking at the legendaries, the skull cap is still going to be your highest value card. You're starting to see a lot of erosion in the value of the other ones. That being said, skull cap's still down 9%. Tekla Foundry Heart, there was a new deck tech by Matt Rogers that came out that's really driving a lot of people to try out Mechanologist, which is driving Tekla Foundry Heart up 34%, making it the most expensive class-specific legendary in the set right now. Arcanite Skullcap still ridiculously expensive, and as you're going to see here in the next part, Command and Conquer also ridiculously expensive. Arcane Rising is really Command and Conquer, Arcanite Skullcap, or bust really. Tekla Foundry Heart's there now, I guess. But it's really important that you hit a Command and Conquer in your case if you want to make your money back. So looking at your Majestics, like I said, Command and Conquer is going to be the one that you want to hit. Up 36% over the last 3 weeks for the Rainbow Foil, up 30% for the regular at $103 and $130 respectively. So keep that in mind that everything is kind of, a lot of the value is put into Command and Conquer. A lot of the value is put into Art of War as well. $69 for the Rainbow Foil, foil 41 for the regular. Lots of value tied up in those cards. You can open a case. We did it last night. You can open a case and not hit any Art of War and not hit any Command and Conquer, and that's going to greatly affect the value of your case. So just keep that in mind. You can see Art of War jumped way up in price, and it has stayed about that price as it is just such a good card in the main deck right now of Chain, and it sees play in some other decks as well. Your average regular is sitting at $17, your average Rainbow Foil at $25. Looking at this super rares, Chains of Eminence is a card that is really starting to get out of hand in terms of price for a super rare, up 71% over the last couple weeks. And the foil version is sitting, it's up to $6, it's up 300%. You can see those two are about the same price. I did look that up. It is, correct. It's just that there's so many being purchased that the regular version is just getting bought out instantly at the $5.50 mark, and so that's kind of what's going on there. So Chains of Eminence jumping up in price. That's really what's guiding the market. Ninth Blade's up a little bit, but most of this gain here of this 18% is tied to that Chains of Eminence. So average is sitting at $1.14 for the regular, $1.78 for the non-foil. You can see a lot of the other cards going down in value, and you're seeing a lot of value that's like 50 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents for a foil. There's just not a ton of value if you don't hit that Chains of Eminence. Looking at your unlimited foil rares, this will pop up and tell us a few of the cards that maybe are seeing a lot of play, like Plunder Run, Aether Spindle. I guess is Wizard popping up again. I don't know. Pour the Mold. You got the the Mechanologist going on. That's about it. Not a ton else to talk about, I don't think. Plunder Run, Pedal the Metal, Aether Spindle, the three cards that are really gaining value right now. Your average rare is sitting about 64 cents for the foils. Looking at the regular rares, then there's not much change in here. They're all about the same price. TCG, they kind of balance themselves all out. Average rare sitting about 15 cents. So, all right, let's talk about the foil commons. We've got some of this equipment stuff for the foil commons still holds its value. Null Rune Gloves particularly holding their value. Fate Foreseen holding its value at the kind of $5 price point. All this Null Rune stuff is being utilized and used, so it's holding its value. Not a whole lot other than that. You've got Fate Foreseen, which is used in tons of decks, and the red version. That's kind of a go-to. If you can hit a Fate Foreseen in a pack, you'll pay for your pack and then some at $5 for a common rainbow foil. Average is sitting at 44 cents. So Let's take a look at the EV per box. Is it worth it to open up one of these Arcane Rising unlimited boxes? The answer is actually probably yes, especially if you can hit a case. If you can get a case at $65 each, really without hitting a Fable or a Legendary, you're sitting at $64 in value box to box. But if you hit if you utilize a case and you're going to hit a Legendary, on average you'll be hitting $90 per box. The Legendary and Majestic, again though, you're gambling at hitting, like if you hit a Command and Conquer or an Arknight Skullcap, you're good to go. Like either one of those, you're good to go. If you miss both of those, yeah, it might be hard to get your money back for a case. So I think if you're going to open these, make sure you're opening up cases and not individual boxes. $65 is really, really, really cheap for boxes at that price point on TCG Player, especially. Those stores are not making any money, maybe a couple bucks, but they're not making any money. So I don't think the boxes are going to get lower than the $65 range, especially on TCG Player. And so, there's fees and shipping and all that stuff. So that being said, this seems like a good play to open boxes, honestly. Seems like it's worth it to open your boxes. That's just my opinion though. Don't take that for what it is. And that being said, I hope all you guys have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. If you're looking for a way to track your collection and see the value of your cards, head on over to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG to support the channel. Get yourself access to a Midtown Merchant discount code as well. And until then, I will continue to try to get my basement all dried up for our stream on Friday night, in which I am playing against DM Armada and Red Zone Rogue to earn the right to spoil a new hero from Tales of Aria. Can't wait. Hope you guys have a great day. One more time, remember to be kind to the people around you.